Federal Court of Canada has upheld a ruling designating Nigeria's two major political parties, the All Progressive Congress and the People's Democratic Party, as terrorist organizations. The judgment delivered on June 17, 2025, also denied asylum to Douglas Ehareba, a former member of both parties, over his decade-long political affiliation. Justice Fwong Ngo dismissed his application for judicial review, affirming the Immigration Appeal Division's decision that his membership made him inadmissible under Canada's Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. Canadian authorities argued that both APC and PDP were implicated in electoral violence, democratic subversion, and politically motivated killings. Court documents showed that Ehareba was a PDP member from 1999 to 2007 before joining the APC until 2017 when he moved to Canada. Intelligence reports cited by the IAD linked the PDP to ballot stuffing, voter intimidation, and killings during the 2003 and 2004 elections, with party leadership allegedly benefiting from the violence. Justice Ngo ruled that under paragraph 34, subsection 1F of the IRPA, mere membership in an organization tied to terrorism or subversion is enough to trigger inadmissibility, even without evidence of personal involvement. The court rejected Ehareba's claim that all Nigerian parties engaged in similar violence and concluded that even flawed elections remain a democratic process, making their undermining an act of subversion. The ruling paves way for Ehareba's deportation from Canada. Edenko.
Yes.
Let me start with
you. You know, there's this parable in my place that when they are bringing a tree down, the monkey is dancing. But the monkey does not know that it is his house or his abode that is being destroyed. Well, they can also say that PDP and APC, they are all terrorist gang or terrorist organization. Then if you look at it technically, so many Nigerian politicians, notable Nigerian politicians, will not also go to Canada. The likes of Obi, at one point in time, they've been members of, he's been a member of the PDP. Rotimi Amechi has moved from PDP to APC, now APC to AD. So if you look at technically, so many of them would not go to Canada. So what's my, in Hausa, they say, Naruwa Ngolo di Pisu, nothing concerned Vulture and Baba. So for me, they should celebrate it. But very many of them will not also enter that Canada.
which people should celebrate it.
I don't know. The people that says, okay, PDP and APC. But thank God they traced this man's allegiance to PDP as far back as 2007. So many of our politicians who had been members of either APC or PDP at one point in their career would also not go to Canada.
All right, very well. Ugochukwu, what do you make of the story?
Laurentia, I don't know the time I have for this because I'm very much interested in this particular story. When the story filtered in yesterday, I took my time to wrap my head around it. In as much as I wouldn't totally agree with the Canadian cause that APC and PDP as a political party will be likened to a terrorist group organization because no court or no government gazette is showing them as such. But the activities, you know, could be likened to that of a terrorist organization because of what has been happening between PDP and APC governance in Nigeria from 1999 to date. Somebody you call a ritualist or a blood money merchant is not only the people that goes about killing people and making use of their body parts, but when a government fails in its statutory duty of protecting lives and properties, you know, providing development and giving an enabling environment for businesses to thrive and for citizens' welfare, social security, you know, in a country, what do you liken it to? You know, these two political parties or the political gladiators that have held sway and public a spokesperson that has in those two political parties has brought autocracy on Nigerians, and which their acts and their behavior and tendencies has, done more harm than good to the Nigerian society and the Nigerian populace. When you talk about the society, it's the human beings that make up the society. So even the terrorist organizations we call Boko Haram and the SWAP and all those people do not even kill in millions, because those people, those political parties are vehicle that produces those leaders that has held Nigeria bent on where we are today, without visible, development and visible infrastructural development and betterment of the lives of the citizens, commensurable with the amount of money turned out in Nigeria every day, with the natural and the abundant resources that Nigeria is blessed with. The other day, sometime a few months ago, I was here exposing how the Nigerian state is among the highest ranking in the production of gold in the world. How many tons of gold is coming out from Nigeria, but the money is not shared at FEC. Some people are pocketing that money and knowing that the value of money is more than the crude that they are relying on. It is not in the interest of Nigeria to make use of the money coming from gold. But people are busy mining the gold and selling it onto themselves. Even the quantum of money that have gone into revamping and the maintenance of the refineries in Nigeria, is it the money that they spend in frivolities? Is it the monies that they pay to their expanded cabinet members? Is it contracts that are awarded that don't see the light of the day? The monies that have gone to NDDC since the creation of NDDC now is the sub-regional development commissions, which will at the end of the day go into the same way that NDDs have gone. Abandoned projects littered everywhere. No continuation of the projects foundation led by a predecessor. Is it the monies that they spend? The Bola Ahmed Tinubu came. We have a fleet. He was bent on buying a new one. 21 billion naira expended in renovating and completing the house of the vice president, and he's not inhabiting it. So I want yes.
The points you're making, you're talking about governance and lack of governance.
Yes.
That is not the reason for the proscription by the Canadian government.
Court.
Let's get it clear. The reason for proscription by Canadian government is electoral violence, democratic subversion, and politically motivated killings. These three things. So the governance and lack of governance doesn't come into play here. It is electoral violence, democratic subversion, politically motivated killings. So this is the reason for proscribing APC and PDP as terrorist organizations in Canada. And now, if this has paved the way for the deportation of Hareva from Canada, that means that every Nigerian in Canada who at some point in their lives we are members of PDP or members of APC might face the same deportation.
Of course.
No, let's see, Laurentia, the two political parties have not been gazetted as terrorist organizations in Canada. No, I mean in Canada, even in Canada. But the courts is because of the activities of those political parties that, in the wisdom of the learned judge, that is now I will assume that this is the judge painting a personal opinion on the way he or she felt about this particular two political parties.
You're interpreting this whole thing. It says Federal Courts of Canada have upheld a ruling. There was an appeal to that ruling. And the Federal Court of Canada has upheld a ruling designating Nigeria's two major political parties, the APC and PDP, as terrorist organization. This judgment was delivered on June 17, 2025. This is a ruling that happened.
Okay.
It was
and,
appealed and affirmed.
this particular member of the former House
Yes.
Reps member went and appealed
Yes, and the judgment prescribing
them.
APC and PDP as terrorist organizations
It's clearer.
was affirmed. So it's not an opinion of a judge.
Okay, so if they have seen those two political parties as involving their involvement in such activities, categorize them to being blacklisted as terrorist organizations, I think other political parties in Nigeria or even around the world will also share the same fate, because we know that elections are manipulated. It is not only in Nigeria. It is not only PDP and the APC that manipulates elections. It is only when you are being asthmatic, you begin to cry wolves. That is the way I'm seeing it, because if you talk about electionary thuggery, it is also the bane that if people are not educated, if the citizens are not well developed, if there is no meaningful employment for citizens, they are now a ready tool for politicians to make use of.
All right.
So when you now juxtapose all those infractions they have mentioned, how has the Canadian state been able to take necessary action? Hence, they have noticed this over time to place an embargo on the politicians they see that have been mingling with this political party over time. It is only in 2025 they want to go, and when they send their electoral monitors and they come back with their verdict of how they see elections conducted in Nigeria since 1999, what effort has the Canadian government made in making sure that those that participated or they presume had one form of infraction or the other leading to the electoral manipulations in Nigeria face the law by even banning them or refusing them entry into their states, and even coordinating other sister countries in order to make sure that they're able to bring those people to book instead of receiving whatever is the proceeds of their crime in their states.
All right. Okay, I'm looking at the implication of this judgment on certain Nigerians based in Canada who at some point in their lives are members of PDP or APC and probably are still members of PDP and APC.
I said something at the beginning. I said when they are bringing a tree down, monkey is jumping, celebrating. The monkey doesn't know that it is his house and place of abode that is being destroyed. So I still stand by it. This very judgment, if they enforce it, it has a very, very negative impact on Nigerians in Canada, those aspiring to go to Canada. If they trace your involvement in politics and they discover that at one point or the other you were a member of either PDP or APC, they will deny you entry. So you look at it that it's counterproductive to Nigerians.
Now let's come back home and also look at the possible implication of this on APC, PDP intending members. People who intend to join APC, who have not yet joined, but intend to join APC or PDP in the coming days. Do you see them now going to ADC and Labour Party as possible options, even though both parties are merged in their own crisis as well?
Well, I think the greatest gift which God has given to human beings is the gift of choice. That's why even in the Bible, I have set before you life and death. This is so choose. So it behooves of the individual to choose between going to Canada and making it in life.
Making it in life, how?
That's becoming political.
Is politics a career?
Of course, some people see it as a career.
Does politics guarantee stability of income?
In Nigeria,
it's the most viable entrepreneurship.
Viable profession. In Nigeria, it is one profession, one vocation that will turn a pauper to a billionaire overnight.
But then it's a 50-50 thing.
Of course, that's why I said it's a...
So you might give it all and it doesn't work, and then you decide to travel out and you realize that...
Then Canada is not the only country in the world.
Yeah, Canada is not the only country in the world. But as it stands now, that appears to be the number one destination for Nigerians who want to live.
For now. it's #1, but there are other countries.
So Nigeria to discover other countries.
Of course.
That's the reason
Of course.
Laurentia, I had one of the spokesperson of the presidency replying, refuting or trying to make a case about the judgment of the Canadian court. So I hope the federal government will go on appeal or look for a way to sort it out diplomatically, because if not, it has a very negative tendencies for politicians in Nigeria and even some of their children that are schooling there. So it's going to be a chain kind of reactionary judgment that will not be very good for Nigerians, or maybe some of us that are into politics without being card-carrying members of some political party. We're only sympathetic to those we see where we see there is a light. We follow. I'm not a card-carrying member. I'm not. I'm not a card-carrying member of any political party. So, as well as many Nigerians, that's why you see them. Our politics now is becoming politics of personality other than party choice.